Greetings, everybody. Welcome to day 27 of the 30 day, 30-day Master Your Life Masterclass. Breath Master Aaron Motley, your global community elder here, bringing you the healthy. Check this out. Yesterday we talked about taking it easy. I wanted to slow it down so you all can have an opportunity to process and also aid that whole thought process of how difficult it may be for some of you. Some of you is like, hey, this is easy, man. You need some more, you need some more, you need some more. Can't please everybody all the time, practically any time, actually. So I'm looking at the whole of humanity. Some up here, some down here. We got to come up and achieve some type of balance. So that's the whole purpose of what it is that I'm about doing, raising that level of health and that vibration for as many as I can. And all of you all who are already on a high vibration, you all are doing the same, I'm sure, because you all know that that's part of the greatest commitment in life. So, what are we talking about today? Today, we're going to talk about movement. I'm not going to go really deep, but I am going to share a couple of videos. You'll see them right up here or here. Sometimes the screen is like reversed. I'm pointing here, and when I see it on the screen, it's over there. So one of those places, I'll get used to this after a while, and I'll be able to point directly to where the link will be placed, because I can't see it now because it's not placed there. So anyway, check this out. The more you move, the more you can move. The less you move, the less you can move. Movement begets movements. Stillness begets stiffness. Now it's different when you're meditating, but even in meditation, there's your body tends to become sedentary and things get kind of locked in place. When you come out of meditation, if you've been sitting in one position for a long time, you got to move your body, wiggle and open those joints back up. It's a natural process. Movement begets movement, stillness begets stiffness. So you got to keep moving. That's why the mantra, keep it moving, keep it going, keep it flowing, is like way up here. It's one of the things that we dedicate our lives to, that awareness. Your thoughts even. You got to keep your thoughts moving, not excessively, but you can't get locked into a mundane thought of, oh, I'm weak. Oh, I'm weak. You got to move that out of there. So anyway, thoughts, physical movement, all of these things come into play. So we're going to talk about physical movements and primarily opening the joints. So there's so much energy that it takes to move, and moving moves so much energy. So as we move, we're actually increasing the flow of energy. So these little simple movements have major consequence. You ever see anyone, the hands like this? Those of you here in the US probably remember Red Fox in that Sanford and Son. He's always talking about, his hand, his arthritis. Arthritis is not a funny thing. So if you do have arthritis, it's best to move. If you have any type of stiffness, it's best to move. Greater fluidity in movement means less pain. And along with that, there's certain things we need to do to maintain the body so that we don't have that stiffness, aside from just movement. Things we need to put in our body. One of the primary things, or prime things that I like to put in my body, is coconuts or coconut oil. Coconuts and the oil, the nice fats that are in the coconut, and avocado as well, help to lubricate the joints, help to maintain fluidity. Now, as you age, You don't want your joints to get all slow and stiff because you don't want to be arthritic. You want to have fluidity in movement. So throughout my life, I've been doing all kinds of, little hand motions and stuff and bouncing on my feet. Whenever I'm standing, I'm bouncing on my toes. If you ever see me in line somewhere, most times I'm going to be bouncing up on my toes, up and down, wiggling one leg back and forth or the legs back and forth, keeping the knee joints open, keeping the ankle joints open, and what have you. Because a lot of times as we age, those are the things that really begin to affect us, the stiffness in the major joints, the ankle joint, the knee joint, the hip joint, the elbow joint, the shoulder joint, the wrist joint, and all of the bone, all of the vertebrae in the neck and the spine. So you want to keep those things supple. One thing that I do, and most people who do yoga, they tend to do these neck rotations. Now, if you haven't been doing neck rotations and you start doing neck rotations, you're going to hear this crackling sound. I hear it now. And what's going to happen is it's going to bring fluid, more fluid into the cervical vertebrae, i.e., your neck bones, and to the base of the brain stem, top of your neck bone. And so that's going to increase blood flow. And if you're doing this with breath work, as we do, it's going to increase the flow of what's called synovial fluid, that fluid that lubricates the spine and keeps everything open and what have you. And in between each vertebrae, it's like a little capsule. Like say this fits the vertebrae, this fits the vertebrae. In between is a little capsule, and it actually as a buffer. It's actually filled with water. And what happens over time when you are sitting for so long and you're not moving, that space decreases and that capsule begins to get pressed and it may bulge out, and they call that a bulging disc, and or a herniated disc because that capsule is like a little disc in between the vertebrae. I don't have anything to illustrate a disc, but anyway, ask your device, show me a picture of a herniated disc or a bulging disc. Show me a picture of the cervical vertebrae. Show me a picture of the vertebrae. Show me the picture of the capsule in between the vertebrae. All of those things you can pull up on your device. I'm not going to do a whole lot of sharing right now on the screen because I want to basically get you all's head around this. I know some of you all are visual, which is why I say ask your device. I'm giving you a visual here now. Um, Here's a neck rotation. The wider you do that neck rotation, the better it is for your spine. If you find that all you can do is this right now, don't worry about it. And whatever you do one way, you do it the opposite. And as you do it, next thing you know, you're going to be coming like this. Next thing you know, you're coming like this. Then you're going to be going even wider. I can't go so wide because I'm a stiff old dude. Psych. So anyway, but I do know some young folks who they can lay their head on their shoulder. Me, not so much. And I don't know if you heard that when I did that just now, there was a crack that was in the middle of my back, literally in the middle between my shoulder blades. The thoracic vertebrae, one of them popped. So that was opening space in that thoracic vertebrae. So let me lean the other way. Okay. Now, what I found is the more I do that, the more open it becomes. Used to be when I was growing up, they had a dance called the neck. And people typically did that one way. Very few people could do it the opposite way. And myself, I was one of those ones who could basically just do it one way, and then my head would be all kind of wobbly wobbly. But after doing my neck rotations extensively, I found that I could reverse that thing at will. And that was amazing to me. Looks crazy, but I'm gonna tell you something. As far as youthfulness, as far as being able to move, that is the prime example of youthfulness, of vibrancy. Because if everything is that's supposed to flow through the joints flows through the joints, everything that's supposed to flow from one body part to the next flows, then things are gonna keep moving, keep going, and keep flowing. And that's how you keep vibrancy. That's how you keep youthfulness. That's how you basically experience a high quality life. And that's how you also help keep waste out of your body. You got to maintain movement. Now, and I've talked about, pardon me, I've talked about energetic constipation, constipation in the digestive system, kind of graphically just to drive the point home. So with that, you want to maintain movement. We talked about the food piece yesterday and the day before, and I talked about the sprouts and all of these kind of things and all of the nutrients and what have you. And I talked about over the course of this 30 days, I've talked about the fiber, and I'll be talking more about fiber. The the woody fiber, that's woody cellulose type fiber that's known as insoluble because it doesn't dissolve in water, and then the soluble fiber because it does dissolve in water and it actually binds water and oil. So these are things that are going to help your body keep moving, keep going, and keep flowing. And while that's happening internally, as far as your biomechanics, your skeletal muscular systems, skeleton moves, muscles move bones. So your muscle moves your skeleton, and so you have to use those and you want to stay fluid with that. So you want to exercise, exercise, exercise. And it doesn't have to be vigorous. I'm not talking about lifting 1,000 pounds. I don't lift weights per se. I mean, I lift things around the house, of course. When I'm out in the yard, I'll lift some things. I might even, you know, dig up a tree, lift a tree trunk or something like that, put a rope on something and drag it, that type of stuff. Um, that's consistent movement. So when I'm not doing those things, not when I'm not doing the heavy lifting, I'm doing the constant small motor skills movement, keeping my joints open and fluid, because that's going to allow me to stay youthful and vibrant as it has. And that's what I would like to see for you and your family and loved ones. So keep it moving, keep it going, keep it flowing. Get your neck rolling, roll your eyes. Quick note on that. Your eyes, the way they're designed, it's a ball and it's got muscles wrapped around it. In order for the lens to focus, it has to move forward and back. So the muscles squeeze the ball to move the lens forward, and then it contracts and it pulls the ball back to bring the lens forward. Excuse me, back. That's how it focuses. When those muscles get weak, you can't focus very well, and everything gets blurred. So eye exercises actually aid that process, aid the regeneration and the maintaining of eyesight. Talked about a few nutrients and what have you mentioned that they support healthy eyesight. I think that was the avocado and a couple of one or two other things. So you need exercise with that. All your small muscle groups tend to get overlooked because we're into being big and strong and wanting to have all of these bulging muscles to, you know, look good, feel good. Muscles are fine. Big muscles are all right. Small muscles that are fit and tight and taut are better. Believe you me. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. So if you like this, hit that like, me a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and hit the notification bell so the next video that's loaded up, you will know exactly when that happens. So you can get all of this goodness, so you can move on with your greatness. And even more than that, share this information with other people and have them subscribe and hit the notification bell as well so that they can constantly be abreast of all of this goodness. I'm not going to eliminate a lot of content. I'm going to leave this up in perpetuity so that it can serve humanity in perpetuity. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Breathmaster A, your global community elder, bidding you adieu until the next time.